Welcome back everyone, quick one today for you hopefully. This bike here has been converted to tubeless by the owner. It's tubeless ready rim and tubeless ready tyre, so it should be no problem. However, it's not holding air. I've already repaired the back wheel, so I know what he did wrong. So I'm going to do the same on this front wheel and show you what he did wrong. Well, basically we'll be starting from scratch really, so it's a fresh tubeless install. So I'll show you how I do it. Might get a little messy along the way, but stay tuned and see how it's done. So this one is kind of holding air. I think every 2 weeks he's having to pump it up. So it's not as bad as the back one. That was lasting sort of a couple of hours and it's going down. So if he's done the same on this as he's done on the back one, then this is going to need redoing. So I'll show you what the main issue was. Let's get the wheel out first. Quite a nice bike this, an older Trek. I've seen a fair few of these. I'm really a big fan of them to be fair. Alright, I'll chop that out. So first most important thing is make sure your rims are tubeless ready. It will state pretty clearly if it's TLR, tubeless ready, things like that. Check on the website if you're not entirely sure. If it doesn't mention it, there's a good chance it's not. And again on the tyre, TR, tubeless ready, clearly stated. So we're good to go on this setup. And he fitted a muck-off valve, so it's tubeless valve as well. So he's got all the kit, it just didn't work particularly well. So I'll show you what he's done, or I think he's done. If he's done the same as the back one, it'll be exactly the same on this one I'm guessing. So first of all, let's get this tyre off. So I'm going to quickly film this video because the one I had planned for tomorrow's release made a complete dog's dinner of it. So this is a replacement, hopefully if I can get it filmed and edited in time. If not, this might be a couple of weeks away. Right, let the air out, obviously. Not that there's much in this one. I always take the valve core out, it's just easier. And that's it, that's flat, we know that's flat. The second thing you gotta do is break the bead. This is either really easy or extremely challenging. If there's anything like the back one, this is super easy. You're literally just squashing this off the rim into the middle of the wheel like that, and that's broken the bead. So go around there like that, push that in. And I can see exactly what he's done already on this one as well. Alright. Again, break the bead on this side. There is sealant in this, so like I say, it might get a bit messy in a minute. Right, so that's fully broken. Push the bead into the centre of the wheel where there's basically the shape of the U. That's the smallest part of the wheel, so you need to get all the tyre into the middle of the wheel basically, otherwise you're going to struggle. Next, get this tyre off. It's a super easy fitting tyre. This is for a tubeless wheel. This is like the easiest one I've ever done, I think. That just peels off there super easy like that. So I'm guessing it should be full of sealant. There's not a lot in there. That should be sort of 10-20 millimeters deep in sealant really. There's just enough to cover the carcass of the tyre, so there's not enough sealant in there in the first place. That's the first mistake. So normally on a mountain bike tyre like this I would put about 100 millilitres of sealant in there. I'm literally going to be able to just pull this tyre off this wheel now because it's such a loose fit. Like that, that's off. So I'm going to take these outside now and rinse both of these down with water. So this muck-off stuff is biodegradable and it goes through my bike wash anyway. I'll get them back nice and clean and then we'll start again. The majority of that's washed off and you can probably, a lot of you probably see straight away what the issue is. Well, one of the issues is muck-off rim tape doesn't look like this, it's not red. So there's a clue. This is the bit where the two tapes have joined, not particularly successfully. And if we take this off now, that's all he's gone basically. So the overlap he's got is sort of 2 inches of overlap. I would normally do at least 2-4 revolutions of tape on a wheel, not 2 inches. So that's a major issue from there. So there's no seal at all there basically. And this red thing here, this is the original rim tape. That shouldn't be on there if you're doing tubeless. That's only there if you're putting an inner tube in there. If you're doing tubeless, that needs to come off and we tape directly to the rim itself. So we'll take this off. Take the valve out in a minute as well. It's got to come off. Does make it easy to get the tape off though. That's a bonus. So I'll clean this, but I'm already covered in sealant. Right, take that off. The 30mm tape, which should be okay on this wheel. You could go to 32 potentially as well, but I'm going to put a 30 back on as well. It's sealed on the back one nicely. So we'll take this core out. On these muck-off ones, there's a 4mm Allen key hole down the bottom of them, if you didn't know. You can basically just unscrew that from there then. There's an O-ring on here. It doesn't fit the profile of this rim particularly well. These are offset. So you'll see these spoke holes are offset on this side of the rim basically, which means adapters basically that would profile to this rim and allow the valve to sit much flatter, but I really struggle to find them online, so if anybody knows of a good supplier for those, then please let me know, because I could do with a bag full of them. It's going to sit here. It's just a stupid angle for the valve to come out. It will still seal, but it's not ideal. Next up, we're going to get this rim tape off that shouldn't really be here. Things like Mavic, this is a completely different tape. It's not a cloth tape like this. Clearly that's not going to seal anything at all, but some of the rims do have a tape on here that is designed for tubeless. This is not. So this will just come straight off, and you can see all the sealant it's got underneath it already. It's just not doing anything at all. Hopeless, not. So with that removed, we need to clean this now until it's spotlessly clean. So clean cloth, isopropyl alcohol, and keep going until you're happy it's absolutely spotless. Yeah, get it clean. Soak your cloth in this. Give it a good soaking. This stuff's cheap. And we're just running it down the centre here until you are spotless. These bits of paint here, you see? That'll come straight off. Look. Keep going. This needs to be super clean. You just run a clean section of cloth down. Just keep going until you're happy it's super clean. Any damage to this, like any dents, you're definitely going to struggle as well. The rim does need to be in good condition and tubeless ready. Everyone will be asking, can you do this on a rim or a tyre that's not tubeless ready? Yes, but I won't do it. I have to be insured. My liability insurance is just a bit too sketchy. If you're sending something out the door that's not designed to be compatible, the tyre falls off when the customer's going down a hill, could be consequences. So you can do it. There's ghetto tubeless. You Google it yourself, find out what that is. But I would highly not recommend it. Tubeless ready, tyre and rim, no problem. Hookless, there's another debate. My belief is it's just purely a cost-cutting exercise from other manufacturers, cheaper to manufacture. They're just trying to sell it as the next big thing. It's not getting a brilliant reputation. Right, I'm happy that's clean now. So now we need to tape it. I'll show you what I do. So ideally I'd want to run a 32-ish tape on this. I've only got 30 or got 35, so I'm going to try and get this on. It might be too wide. But basically you want to go up the side of the rim itself rather than just covering the middle bit. The more you can get on this, the better, really. I'm going to buy a load of this from AliExpress, a load of different manufacturers, cheap ones. I'm going to do a test of basically how well they wrap around the rim, because this stuff's just ridiculously expensive for what it is. And it's so much cheaper on AliExpress. So I'm going to buy 10, 15 different brands of that. And we'll do a wrap test on here, see how well it wraps. Rather than having to pay premium prices in the UK, at least. This is like £15, something ridiculous for a roll of sticky tape. I know you can get cheaper like packing tape alternatives and whatnot, but I'm going to try some AliExpress stuff just for you guys out of my own pocket. Right, so this is 35, it might be a bit wide. So there's the valve hole there. I'm going to start the opposite side of that down the bottom. And we're going to get the first bit super good. So it's all about attention, really. I think this might be too wide. I might have to revert to the 30, but it will still work. The 30, I have sealed the back wheel already 3 days ago, and it might be okay actually. Right, so basically you're seeing that in there. Well, you need to pull this like super tight. Basically you're trying to fold the centre bit into the middle of the rim. Like that. You can hear how tight that is. And get it central. It's just a fraction too wide. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. It will go. What I don't like about the tubeless tapes, especially, well, not especially this one, but a lot of the tubeless tapes, you'd find it just bridges the middle quite a lot. There's not really a great deal you can do about that. Temperature of the day is going to make a difference, I guess. It's, what is it, about 15 degrees here, Celsius in the UK. This is just a smidge too wide, but we'll persevere. And we'll just keep going like that until we're all the way around past the valve, and then keep going. A lot of tension on there. I'm just going up the side slowly as I'm going around because, like I say, it's just a little bit on the wide side. We've got enough as well. Oh, sod's law, I'm going to run out halfway around. 32 would have been nice. It'll work though, don't we? So this is where they join in here. So basically try and get this as flat as you can first of all. Get a little tool first. Get yourself a little plastic tool. This is for fitting car trims, and then you're just working that edge basically down there until it's happy and tight against the rim, like that. You press too hard, you don't want to cut it, but make sure it's in properly. Then we're going to go straight over this, nice and tight again. And keep going. I'm going to keep going. There's hardly anything left on this roll, so I'm going to go past way past the join. Pretty much all of it gone. So we're going about 1.5, nearly 1.5 way around. Like that. This is why I want to get some cheap ones, because you get through so much of this stuff, so many different sizes. It costs a fortune to carry them all and enough of it to do day in, day out. That's why I'm going to do a test for my own benefit. Whether you want it or not, I'm doing it. Right, so then we're just going to go around with this tool all the way around, making sure it's seated in nice and tight. You'll hear it sealing basically. I don't press too hard, you don't want to cut it. But you do want to make sure it's stuck. Right, so that's the join there basically. Normally you'd do a 45 degree on there, but because the rolls run out, I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then I'll show you how I finish that. So on the join, I'll go over it with a layer of Gorilla Tape. And to be fair, you can do your entire tubeless conversion using Gorilla Tape if you want. It actually works really well. However, if you need to get it off again, my God, good luck with that. Going over a couple of inches either side of that. This is a bit narrower, so it'll go in easier. And again, nice and tight. Like that. And this will form quite nicely to the rim shape, you'll find. You do get a little finishing tape with this muck-off tape, but it's very small and doesn't tend to stick particularly well. This always does a much better job for me. And it's kind of the ghetto version, is like 6 or 7 times around the wheel with this stuff. And the valve hole, find that. I also add another section of this just to reinforce that area, because the tape can split quite easily when you put the valve through. And this just helps it in my experience. So there'd be no harm doing a complete revolution of this stuff on top of your tubeless tape if you really wanted to. And it'll come off as well because it's obviously stuck to another tape first. And on the valve hole, you'll see a lot of people melting it through with skewers and stuff. I'll just stick this through. It doesn't do any different to me. Just find the hole, shove that up. One clean hole like that. And that's it. Just push that through, don't wiggle it around, that's all I do there. Then get the valve, I'll put the core back in because it's a bit thinner and goes through easier. Find the hole and just push it through firmly. Make sure you got the rubber profile in the right angle. Like that. And then on the back we're putting this O-ring on, which sits inside this cap here. So it doesn't sit very well on this rim at all, but it'll work. Doesn't need to be super tight, you can put the Allen key down there if you need be, but generally speaking just sort of finger tight like this. That's not going anywhere. If you can still waggle it around, you're not tight enough, but to me that's tight enough. Take this core back out because we don't need it for a minute. And then we can put a tyre on. So I've cleaned the vast majority of sealant out of this tyre. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit on the surface there, it's fine, don't worry about it. The most important thing is get the direction right. You don't want to be taking it off and doing it again. So that's forwards, and that's forwards on the wheel. Get that right, otherwise you'll be doing it again. Find your valve, find your label if you want to be posh about it, and we're just going to hook that in there. Being careful not to damage the tape. So this tyre fitted so easily, it's just ridiculous. Some of them you'd be there really struggling, but this one practically falls on. And he says, get some Cushcore on there, it'll be a different story altogether. Nightmare to get on. Right, there's one half on. So just make sure the tyre is sitting in the middle of the wheel to give you as much slack as possible. That's the key to getting these things on easily, relatively easily. And then we're just pushing the other side on. Like that. Sitting right in the middle of the wheel, no problem. And this will go straight on. I am confident. Look, no tools, and I've got a bad thumb and I can get this on. Try and end at the valve because it's a little bit fiddly otherwise. And look at this, it's just going straight on. No problem, no tyre levers, that went straight on, super easy. A bit too easily in my, for my liking. Right, now we need to pump this up with no valve core. So what I use to pump it up is a compressor, very large compressor, I think it's 50, 100 litres, I don't know if it's a big massive thing. And it takes half a second to get these on. If you've got a CO2 canister or you've got a booster charger pump, use one of those. I've got a toe peak one, I don't use it. If you've got one of these, this is a toe peak, basically you charge this up to 160 psi. And then just release all the air into the tyre. I don't use this anymore. To be honest, I don't even know why I've still got it. I may as well get rid of it. I use an air compressor. It's far, far easier. So because this tyre is still quite wet, it's actually going to help us put this on it will ease it just over, it'll ease it into place. So a little low valve core, and we're just going to bang this on, you'll hear the tyre seat, no problem. That's in. So it's about 30 psi in there at the moment. Take it off, get your finger on there nice and quick, like that. Then what you need to do, super critical, is make sure it's beaded properly. So there's a line on your tyre here. Follow that line all the way around, make sure it's even, which it is on this side. Turn it over, and again make sure it's beaded all the way equally around there, which it is. Check your rotation as well, which we are right. And that's in. So this is super critical to make sure you get that bit right. If that's not seated properly, you're never gonna get it on. Let the air out. When you let the air out, lie it down, because if you stand it on its end, there's a chance you're going to pop that bead off the rim again. So just lie it down while you get your sealant ready. So I use this Vittoria sealant. I've been really happy with this. It's not let me down once, to be fair. Every single tyre is sealed first go. So I've been really impressed with this. It's ammonia free, and yeah, fantastic stuff. Quite hard to find actually, but I've just bought another 5 litre bottle because I was so impressed with this. And this is what we're going to use. Let's get this shook up good and proper. Right, that's shaken. To get the sealant in, we're going to inject it through the valve. I always do this. I don't think I've ever had to do it by trying to pour the sealant into the tyre first. It just seems like a disaster waiting to happen. We know the tyre's already seated here, so what can possibly go wrong? He says while he's filming it. So just assemble your syringe, and I say we're going to put about 100 millimeters in here into a big tyre. Road tyres obviously take a bit less, sort of 50 to 90. Right, I'm just going to load this up without making an almighty mess. Give me a second. Alright, so that's full, pretty much 100 mil-ish. Don't be too pushy about it. The only problem is you're adding more weight if you put more in, but it will help you. Screw it onto your valve. Don't get any easier than this, does it? Like that. And just push it in. Done. Pull it out. Push it in a few times, otherwise you might get a bit of blowback. Get a cloth ready, because it's inevitable you're going to drop a few. Little drips are going to come out. It already looks like it's been snowing in here. There's that much drips on the floor. Don't do this in your living room with your cashmere carpet, guys. Definitely don't. Right, that's basically done. Just put the valve core back in there. Get yourself a little valve core like this. It's two pre. Well, there's loads and loads of these, all the same. Go on Amazon. I'll send you a link. Get yourself a bag of Presta cores, 10, 20 Presta cores. Comes with one of these, cheap as chips. And every time you do some tubeless maintenance, put a new valve core in. No point messing around with a bit of grease and all that rubbish. Just put a new one in. They're literally pennies. So anytime you do anything, you're struggling to get air in and out, obviously you need a new core. But if you're topping up sealant, changing the tyre, any maintenance on tubeless, put a new core in. It's pennies. Right, that's ready to go. Just going to inflate that now to, oh no, let's go 25 psi. Just before we inflate these, I want to thank this video sponsor, sportandleisure.com. They've been an ongoing sponsor for the channel now for, I don't know, past month, 6 weeks. They've been fantastic, really. Helping me to enable some really interesting projects for you guys, make little videos for you, like flat bar conversion, GRX levers and stuff. That's all thanks to sportandleisure.com. So check out their website. Their descriptions are fantastic. You know, everything is clearly listed, fantastic pictures. Whatever you see on there, that's what you're getting when you click that buy it now button. Prices are absolutely incredible. I don't know how they do it, honestly. It's cheaper than trade prices to me. A lot of the stuff that I get, I can't get for that price. I've no idea how they do it. And as an added bonus, enter the code BCR10 at checkout, and you got another 10% off the already unbelievable prices. So they've got a good range of tubeless tyres, sealants, etc. Check out their website below. And thanks again, sportandleisure.com, for continuing to support this channel. Really appreciate it. Right, let's get some air in this bad boy. It's up to the rider. When he picks the bike up, he can set whatever pressure he wants, but I'm going to put 25 in. It used to be back in the day, it used to be 40, don't forget. Right, this Park INF2 is an awesome tool. If you've not got one and you've got a massive compressor, get one of these. It's fantastic. Right, that's 25 psi. Just do that up. Valve cap back on. All we need to do is pray. No, get this back in the bike and we're going to spin this around for a few times. Ideally you want to do this before you go for a ride. If you do this and let it sit on for a couple of weeks, it's not ideal. What I always tell customers is go for a ride after you've got the bike back, just let the sealant really circulate and do its thing. But let's get it back in the bike now and spin it around a few hundred times, and it should be fine. Right, so that wheel is in. This axle not very tight. I need to adjust that, but I'll do that later. That's basically in, and then we're just spinning it around. That's what we're doing, letting that circulate. Brakes are rubbing. I'll sort that out later. Rotor's bent, that's why. And that's how I do it. I've done hundreds of tyres like this. It never caused me an issue. I'll say never. You get the odd one or two, obviously, but generally speaking, this seals up straight away. Fairly straightforward. Use the syringe, use the correct width tape. Don't leave your old rim tape on. Get a decent sealant and a big pump. Or just get someone else to do it. That's the easiest way. Also, if you want to be confident that it's actually sealed, get some soapy water. This is just literally soap and water. And just spray it on. Any leaks you're going to see straight away. If you're getting air through the spoke holes, you need to do it again. Getting air through the valve hole, you either need to tighten it up or do it again. So just concentrate on that area. If these are sealed, you're okay. Supremely confident that will still be rock hard in the morning. Relatively little mess. There's a couple of drops down there. Another one there somewhere. Not too bad at all. Could be worse. Equipment wise, obviously we've got sealant, we've got the injector, a little plastic pushing tool, some scissors, your tape, valve core, stabby thing for your valve, and a bit of Gorilla tape just to finish it off, and a pump. So I hope you found that useful. Like I say, a lot of people really struggle with this, but you can see it's pretty straightforward if you've got the right kit. It's not too bad. It can get a bit messy sometimes when it goes a bit wrong, but touch wood, I've been lucky so far. You watch the next one and be all over the ceiling, but never mind. People are very 50-50 on tubeless. On a road bike, a lot of people say it doesn't make sense. On a mountain bike, I think it's pretty obvious it does make massive sense. It really helps you out. It does a fantastic job, there's no debate. Put a cush core in here and it's a massipe challenge, especially if one of your thumbs don't work like mine. You can still do it, but wow, it's difficult. Definitely pay someone to do that, not me. I don't want to do any more. Hope you found it useful. A nice quick midweek video for you. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.